so actually, I had a really big blessing this week. In leading music worship at my local church. Um, there you have to spend a great deal of time just trying to hear from God, like what would be good for His service, right? And of course, we do this when we prepare a sermon, but it's a very special time of just like trying to listen, and it's almost like tuning in. Like, I'm not sure how many of you have used a radio where you're kind of like turning the dial, waiting to get a clear signal. I know over the years, like you use the digital thing and just finds things, but back in the day, I remember twisting the dial and like, oh, just a little bit more, and then oh, there's a beautiful sound. So it's kind of like tuning in to God's heart and God's ears, and making sure that whatever we're preparing is something that's going to be beautiful for Him. Um, and so this a couple of years ago, there was this song that I don't even remember where I heard it from, but it was just so nice. I was like, oh man, I would just love to lead the church service sometime with this song. And I reached out to my fellow team members, and they're like, you know what, we agree that's a nice song, but in the website and in the service that we use, there's only certain songs you're allowed to play on a Sunday morning. That all has to do with copyright and licensing. And so, my friend said, as much as I like this song there, BG, we can't use it. And I was like, yeah. So I was a little frustrated. Anyways, so this past week it came to mind again. I looked at the song online, and I was like, I really want to check this out again. Well, copyright has its uses, though, Panda. I hear you. Sometimes it can be frustrating, but it has its uses, so that the people who make get credit, right? So I looked it up, and I was able to locate a legal source, and it lined up with their license, and so we were able to sing it today. And it was just so in line with the message that our pastor gave. Anyways, so it all came from this guy. His name is Corey Asbury. And he was just doing his devotions. And I don't know about you, but one of my struggles in my faith is doing a daily devotion is just something that I don't know. I'm just not that organized. Okay, so if you do daily devotions, that's awesome. I think doing a daily reading, daily time with God is awesome. I find usually just that ongoing prayer, conversation with God is how I connect with God. And when I have opportunities to read God's word, it's always a blessing. But I don't do something consistently like some of you may do. But in this guy's devotional time, he was reading Psalm 29. So let me put it up on the screen. No, okay, back up there, you silly goose.
A hazard. Whoa. Is this place active a lot, or is this just like a rare occasion?
Sorry,
Every
is
Sunday
what
is-
active a lot, David?
Like, is this place active?
Yeah, we meet once a
I
week.
has
Or we actually meet
questions.
3 or 4 times a week. Yeah.
As like a couple questions.
Okay, we'll do questions at the end. We're just going to focus
Okay.
on our service right now. But thanks, David. So as you can see on screen, so this was the psalm that he read, and it just says this: "Ascribe to the Lord, O heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord glory. Do His name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of holiness. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord over many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon to skip like a calf, and Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth and strips the forests bare, and His temple all cry, Glory! The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as King forever. May the Lord give strength to His people. May the Lord bless His people with peace. So, this man was listening to this song in his devotions, and the the main tune of the song came to him, and the song just flowed. And it's all about this ascribe to the Lord. It's like we don't usually use that word very much. The word ascribe. It's when it's if you were to like, if I were to talk about everyone here, and I would say, who is the most hyperactive and enthusiastic person here, I would say I would ascribe those descriptions to my friend Flash, right? Because he is always raring to go. If I were to say who is determined to share the gospel and her faith in Rec Room, I would ascribe those words to my friend Liz, Red Panda. If I were to say, who really wants to see their friends come to know Jesus and looks for opportunities, I would ascribe that to my friend Lagoon. And there's all kinds of things. So when we think about who someone is, what adjectives, what understanding of that person do we ascribe to them? You might say, who has the worst dad jokes ever? Well, I ascribe that to Pablo because they're literally the worst. Okay, so when we think about God, how do we even describe our Creator? And I really like how this psalm is about that. It's like, just remember, like God and heavenly beings, when God put everything into order, it must have been beautiful for the angels to see everything come together. And just causes them to worship Him. And later on, just here it says the voice of the Lord is over the waters. Remember, God with His voice brought our world, and starting with the waters. It started with the waters, and then the sun, the moon, the planet, the earth. It was His voice that called it into being. And all along, in His majesty and His greatness, He creates this awesome creation. Here we are. We think we're so amazing by creating AI because it seems like it can have like human-like conversations with us. But AI can't feel. AI is not autonomous. It requires this programming. But God has created this being that has autonomy, that has free will.